The Winter Cup is the legendary battleground of the Generation of Miracles, which Kagami and Kuroko entered during the last arc of Kurokonobasket. Today we're going to be breaking down the entirety of the first big game during the Winter Cup, that being Kagami vs Almine or Seirin vs Toho. Without further ado, let's get straight into the match. From the tip-off, the game starts with Seirin taking possession of the ball. Winning the tip-off is crucial due to how Toho took second at the inter-high and completely crushed Seirin in their last game, doubling their score. A clear power gap between the two teams, which is why Seirin needs to capitalize on them being underestimated even just a little bit. They have to hit them hard and give them nothing, seizing a lead from the start. We see Izuki, Seirin's point guard, drive to the net only to get marked by Imayoshi, the opposing team's point guard and captain of Toho, who begins applying pressure. This is not a matter of Toho underestimating Seirin. It's actually the opposite. They're just playing as if it's the final quarter of the game, clearly taking Kagami and Ko seriously. Imayoshi remarks as much, recalling a conversation in the locker room with Momoi, telling the team not to lose focus as Seirin is not only going to come at them with everything, but is completely different from the team they faced earlier this year. The team's growth being confirmed by Momoi, who notes how they're in better form than she's ever seen them. Come back to the game, Izuki passes to Hyuga, the team captain of Seirin and the shooting guard for the team, only for Sakurai, the opposing team's shooting guard, to steal the ball away, seemingly going for a three, but in actuality tossing a layup to Almine, who dunks the ball in, drawing first blood in this match with that alley-oop. Toho noting that the initiative is theirs, but this isn't unexpected to Seirin, as if they underestimate them, they hit them hard and fast, but if they buckle down and come at them for real, then they enact plan number 2. Kuroko's new pass. On the surface, when Kuroko gets the ball, it seems as if he's going to unleash his Ignite pass, which just doesn't work when Almine is around, but the form is different. This new pass being an improvement on his Ignite pass, being called Ignite Pass Kai. The pass containing so much force that even in front of Almine's face, the ball tunnels right through his palm to the other side of the court. Kiyoshi, the center for the team, is on the receiving end of the pass and when receiving the ball, springs up to duck the ball in. But Wakamatsu, the center for Toho, responds getting ready to block. Kiyoshi responding in kind to this response with his delayed release as a result of his large hands, being able to manipulate the ball and change up any play on the spot, uses this to pass the ball to Kagami, who dunks it in. The Generation of Miracle members who are in the stands watching the game are all impressed by Kuroko's new pass that packed such piercing power that it smacked Almine's hand out of the way. The secret in the pass lying in the spiraling motion. In the same way a gun puts spin on a bullet in order to stabilize the trajectory and give it more piercing power, Kuroko's doing something similar, transferring the rotational movement from his body to the ball, thereby allowing it to fly farther and faster. Amine believes this may actually be fun, and Kuroko believes the game will not be the same as last time. Back into the game, Imayoshi makes a pass to the small forward on the team, sinking a free throw. Furthermore, Kiyoshi is unable to budge Wakametsu, Toho's center, remarking on how a purely physical level he might be on par with Kagami as he snatches the rebound, passing to Sakurai, leading to another point for Toho. Kuroko's new pass just isn't phasing the opposing team. There is no weakness to exploit as the team pulls ahead thanks to their shooting efficiency, defense, and rebounding. Each play is executed to perfection, advancing their game. What we're seeing here is simply a wide gap in ability. With seemingly no other option, we see this fall back onto the ace's back. Kagami facing off against Almine one-on-one. Whoever loses this face-off will lose momentum for their team and the rest of the game. When both aces face off, each team's drive will inevitably be affected by the result, especially when one of them is Almine. Furthermore, with Seirin already on the ropes, a loss here could be fatal. If Kagami loses to Almine here, the game is pretty much over. What we see next is a simulation of what would have happened had Kagami actually tried to take on Almine one-on-one. Kagami would have driven past Almine, spinning to his back for a free throw, to which Almine with his speed and reflexes stops the ball before Kagami shoots, leading to a steal in Toho's favor. The entire mental simulation takes place in just under 5 seconds. Kagami notes how it sucks, but he can't beat Almine, not right now at least, leading to Seirin calling for a timeout. It might seem to the untrained eye that Kagami backed down, but what actually happened or occurred between them in those few seconds was a back and forth on a higher plane, that simulation that we just mentioned. The smallest fake from Kagami triggered a very real simulation between the two players. It was their sheer talent that allowed them to completely and accurately read each other's abilities. A one-on-one during the middle of a game has as much to do with overall situation as individual skills. After walking through those simulations, Kagami realized he would lose the face-off. Still, he managed to avoid the otherwise inevitable turnover. It was a level-headed decision that didn't necessarily reflect well on himself, but one that would have great significance on the outcome of the game. That decision was a perfect example of Kagami's growth as a player. Needing a way to break through Toho's defense, Hyuga steps up to take the burden, telling the team to pass him the ball. The timeout over and Hyuga having the ball, we see him face off against Sakurai, who knows really that Hyuga just isn't quick and he shouldn't really have too many problems just watching out for his three-pointers, only for Hyuga to step back into a jump shot with breakneck speed, sinking a three-pointer. His new move deemed the barrier jumper. The secret behind the barrier jumper is all about Hyuga's center of gravity. Since moving the heaviest part of your body requires the most energy, you need explosive strength in order to make that happen fast, which is why you don't move it. Just position your center of gravity behind you from the start while keeping your stance as normal as possible so the opponent doesn't notice. With this new move in his back pocket, Hyuga sinks another three-pointer. Toho seems stumped as Hyuga's growth is beyond what even Momoi's data can explain, but Sakurai is resolute on stopping him on his own. Facing off against Hyuga again, he forces a shot sinking it in. The Toho captain noting how Sakurai wouldn't be on the starting lineup if all he could do is shoot fast. The stronger his opponent gets, the better Sakurai's shot becomes, because despite his timid looks and nature, when it comes to shooting, he's a sore loser. This doesn't bother Hyuga in the slightest, who just tells the team to pass him the ball, intent on beating the opposing shooting guard down. We see Hyuga and Sakurai trade buckets, barrier jumper versus quick release, the game turning into a three-point contest as forcing the ball inside would be disadvantageous. Both teams are in a state of stalling with the team that flinches losing. With Sakurai sinking another shot, it seems like the first quarter is going to end with Toho having a 22-19 lead on Seirin, but Kuroko catches a pass from Kiyoshi, where he uses his new move, the Vanishing Drive, to get past Toho's center, passing to Hyuga, who sinks a 3 on the buzzer, tying the score for the first quarter, 22-22. Before the second quarter starts, it's revealed that Kuroko wants to continuously use his Vanishing Drive, but the Vanishing Drive has certain conditions. Kuroko can't perform the drive all on his own. In the move itself, Kuroko ducks at an angle. The reasoning for this is due to how the human eye is great at tracking things on the vertical and horizontal axes, but not diagonally. Coupling this with Kuroko, who is a pro at reading people's line of sight, he charges through them at a weird angle that's tough to follow, but only when a certain condition is met does it become the perfect Vanishing Drive. That condition is Kagami. The reason Kagami is so crucial is that, just like Aomine, he's got more presence than anybody on the court. In basketball, the ball draws more attention than anyone or anything else, which is why Kuroko can't use misdirection while holding the ball, but now that he's grown, he can draw the eye away for a moment or two. The instant the opponent turns to Kagami is when Kuroko moves. That's the secret behind his Vanishing Drive. The solution for Toho is simple on paper. All they gotta do is keep Kagami and Kuroko separated. Easier said than done. But it can be done if Aomine manages to check Kagami. The idea though is just something Aomine is not with, and he throws it out the window, believing that it'll be a cold day in hell when someone gets past him, obviously in reference to Kuroko. Starting the second quarter off, Kuroko gets ball possession and faces off against Aomine, it being obvious that there's only really one thing he can do. Using the Vanishing Drive, it seems like Kuroko has made it past Aomine, only for Aomine to react to the drive. Even more amazingly is that his eyes are closed. Aomine never stopped to look at Kagami, who was right behind Kuroko before he performed the Vanishing Drive, sensing Kuroko's breathing in rhythm in order to react, stealing the ball away and dunking it in. Shadows only get to exist because of the light. Struggle all you want, that's never gonna change. Your shadow can never beat my light. These are the harsh words that Aomine imparts to Kuroko. The move he came up with to defeat the Generation of Miracles and got him past Midorima was overcome. While everybody was in a daze, Riko, the coach of Seirin, took immediate action and put in a request to time out. The first quarter might have ended in a tie, but that was the result of Seirin going all out. Toho, adversely, still hadn't shown their entire hand, so the failure of the team's trump card Kuroko was sure to shatter the resolve in a big way. Riko envisioned the gap widening like a bursting dam, so she tried to take action and call a timeout. But Kuroko, in a fit of anxious frustration, launches an Ignite past Kai at Aomine, despite the fact that Hyuga and Kiyoshi still have their defenders shadowing them, clearly attempting to overcome Aomine, but the same trick won't work on him twice. The ball coming to a grinding hole in Aomine's palm and dropping to the floor. If this is all Kuroko came up with to beat Aomine, then it was just wasted effort. Now having the ball, Aomine dribbles past Kuroko and with his free-form dribbling Izuki too, launching a formless shot that even Kagami couldn't stop. The momentum in Toho's favor doesn't stop as another turnover occurs, leading to Toho scoring 2 in a row. Riko, noting that her bad feeling was right on the money, begging for the clock to stop, what eventually does when the ball goes out of bounds. With the score at 24-30, 3, Seirin at a 6-point deficit, Rico benches Kuroko, who is not only feeling the sting from his new pass, but Aomine's words that everything he did, all the training, was wasted effort. Kagami then takes the lead, patting Kuroko on the head and vowing to teach Aomine there is no such thing as wasted effort. It's not that Kagami's really doubting Kuroko. If he doesn't come back, the team's going to be in serious trouble, and the little guy has saved Kagami more times than he can count. It's not really about Kagami beating Aomine, not anymore at least. It's more so about Kagami saving Kuroko, as Kuroko has saved Kagami time and time again. Although it seems like Kagami is going to face off against Aomine, he passes to Kiyoshi, who lays the ball up. Aomine questioning if Kagami's really going to face him as he looked so determined, but Kagami isn't really falling for the bait, telling Aomine to relax. I'm not running from this fight. We see Aomine change his pace, one of his specialties, as even if one can read his timing, stopping him is an entirely different matter. What's more interesting, however, is Kagami's stance. He's using the same relaxed, carefree posture that Aomine does. At the drop of a dime, Kagami reads Aomine's move and lunges forward, aiming for a steal. Aomine responding by swinging around Kagami, spinning behind his back, only for Kagami to chase him down from behind. It's noted in a flashback between Rico and her father that Kagami has the potential to go toe-to-toe with the Generation of Miracles, but hasn't really managed to hold his own against any one of them yet. Somewhere deep inside, he's still relying on Kuroko. He might be thinking he has no choice but to team up with Kuroko to take down a Generation of Miracle member or the group, but that's actually what's holding him back. There's nothing wrong with working together, but that only really works once each player realizes his full potential. As long as Kuroko's the reliable 6th man on the court, Kagami can't take that next step. But if he somehow finds a way to give it his all, he'll for sure be on par with the Generation of Miracles. Kuroko's defeat was the trigger to remove all restraints. By going from the guy who gets carried to the one who carries the team, it's like his potential was unleashed on a subconscious level. This change not only improving Kagami's play, as when Aomine spun around him earlier, Kagami was able to catch up and block his shot from behind. Aomine only having praise for Kagami. This is finally getting a little exciting. I wasn't expecting big things out of you honestly, but you're a lot better than before. Now I get to play a little more seriously. Aomine with an expression of pure glee. It's noted that while Aomine's been playing at a high level since the game started, he was still barely trying. Having a completely different vibe now though that Kagami's awakened, something in Aomine's eyes has changed. It's like he's finally recognized Kagami as a true rival, so he decided to get serious. Aomine's speed rises as he attempts to drive past Kagami, being noted to be even faster than before, and although Kagami's not backing down, Aomine bounces the ball through Kagami's legs, seeming as if he's going to make a pass to his center, but in actuality setting up his own shot. Back to the hoop and all, Aomine scores in the air. Although Aomine's teammates are rightfully mad, he doesn't care. This is his first real challenge in who knows how long, and even his own teammates are not going to mess it up for him. Running it back, Kagami gets possession of the ball, and with a screen set up by Koga, Kagami attempts to drive to the basket only to get blocked by Aomine. Although Aomine hasn't broken through this screen yet. Just having slid to the side, Kagami shifts back to the left, the two players using Koga as a set piece in their duel, as Kagami free throws the ball, landing it in the basket. Kagami is still intent on taking Aomine on one-on-one, as he believes he can take this a little further. The support Seirin offers is useless when they're playing at a level like this. Minarima believes that this back and forth is going to fall apart soon, as despite both aces trying hard, this isn't their absolute best. As the match goes on, the slightest gap between them is sure to become more pronounced. Kisei remarking how he just doesn't see Aomine losing, and it does seem like Aomine is going to come out on top as he goes for another formless shot, only for Kagami to respond by blocking the shot, it being noted by Kisei that that was Aomine giving it his all, shocking the entirety of the Generation of Miracles. The idea that Kagami is better than Aomine entering their minds. With the unstoppable Aomine struggling with Kagami, Toho begins to panic, going for another formless shot into a fake and driving past Kagami, only for Kagami to respond again. Imayoshi questioning how Kagami is keeping up. He has potential and has practically been keeping up with the rest of the Generation of Miracle members thus far, but Aomine is faster than Kagami, so how is Kagami doing it? Minarima believes that it's impossible that Kagami is reading Aomine's movements due to how Aomine's inherent speed comes from his instant reactions to his opponent's moves. First the relaxed stance and now superhuman speed, it's almost as if Kagami is a wild animal. This instinct was actually the purpose of Kagami's training before the Winter Cup in America, a talent that Kagami had lost and had to reclaim in a basketball gambling ring. It's not a gift, but something that Kagami had to work hard on, a sixth sense that comes from honing the other 5. In basketball, it lets someone react faster than they can even think. If Kagami combines his jumping power with his wild instinct, then his true talent can shine, as he snags a rebound with only 3 seconds left in the second quarter. With Seirin only 2 points behind, Kagami goes for a formless shot. The shot only missing because Aomine grazes the ball with his fingertip. The second quarter ending in Toho's favor, having a 2-point lead with them having 48 and Seirin having 46. The team of Toho begins to question if they are going to lose, but the captain is sure of Aomine. There's nobody who can beat him. He's finally found an opponent who can really challenge him. So right now, Aomine is probably beside himself with joy. And I mean, just look at this smoke demon, bro. He lives for this, man. On the other side of things, we see a conversation between Kagami and Kuroko where Kuroko tells Kagami that he just wants to see Aomine smile on the court one more time, as he hasn't really done that since the middle school days. Kagami telling him that he can't really, that's not something he's going to be able to do. People just aren't that simple. There's no telling if Aomine is actually going to change if we win. But if we lose, you can be sure nothing's going to change. All we can do is just get everything we got and go for the win, leading to the third quarter starting. In the start of the third quarter, Kuroko rejoins the team as he previously got benched. Starting with Toho's ball and pass to Aomine, we get another face-off between the team's aces, only for Aomine to drive past Kagami, seemingly at full speed before, but no, he's actually gotten even faster. It seems like he's gonna make it to the basket, only for Aomine to charge into Kuroko, earning him a foul. As Aomine knows all of Kuroko's moves, Kuroko knows all of Aomine's moves, predicting Aomine's course, causing the foul to occur. Starting up again, Izuki passes to Kuroko, who circles the ball around, eventually using his Ignite pass on Hyuga. Although feeling the force of the pass, Hyuga is able to receive it and sink a 3. Before, only Kagami was able to receive an Ignite pass, but due to the training during the summer, the entirety of the team is able to receive Kuroko's Ignite pass. Although Kai is still a different story entirely, with this, Seirin is able to take the lead for the first time during this game. On offense, Kuroko is keeping his head down whenever Aomine is around and only passes when Aomine is out of reach, and on defense, uses his experience with Aomine to support Kagami. Something is out of place though. Toho's coach and Momoe noting how they're going to have to take Kuroko down now. As the game picks up, we see Miyoshi make a pump fake to the center, passing to him for a layup, securing a 1-point lead for Toho. This is actually a bit odd to everybody on the team, mostly due to the fact that this center was previously guarding Kuroko, only for it to be revealed following this pass. Miyoshi is now guarding Kuroko, sealing him off with Kuroko being unable to shake him. Kuroko's misdirection has been completely nullified. In the locker room, it's noted by Momoe that Kuroko isn't really disappearing. Explaining his misdirection, it's just his normal lack of presence that makes him easy to lose track of. You might react by staring at him really hard so as to not miss him, but it's really easy to mislead somebody when they're staring like that. The more you stare, the deeper the hole you're digging for yourself, only making it easier for him to work his misdirection magic. The key to defeating Kuroko is to not look at him. He uses misdirection whenever he's about to make a move with a teammate. Just before that, he'll always make eye contact with the player in question. That player is a mirror, reflecting him via eye contact. Wherever they're looking, that's where he's bound to be. So in order to not lose sight of him, right after making eye contact, look for the player about to pass and move towards them. The biggest threat from him isn't his passing or his drive, it's the misdirection which makes all of the other stuff possible. By nullifying that, they're able to shut him down completely. Miyoshi is the perfect weapon for this, as he sees through the opponent's expressions and gestures, a demon when it comes to reading mind, sinking a 3 all while making Kuroko obsolete. Even Hyuga's barrier jumper is seen through by Momoe, who tells Sakurai to pay attention to his pivot foot, stopping the jump. Toho unleashing their strategy with Aomine intent on starting the second round with Kagami. The red giant goes to make his move, but in that instant got chills from a simulation that ran through his head subconsciously. A scene of overwhelming defeat, even worse than the first time they played. Aomine capitalizing on this half second of hesitation caused by this chill to steal the ball, dribbling past all of Seirin all the way to the basket. Even with Kagami blocking Aomine, he has no problem spinning around Kagami in the air and dunking the ball in. Despite Aomine playing seriously in the first half, Aomine also had an awakening of sorts. What Kagami honed were his so-called wild instincts, but Kagami is not the only one in possession of such instincts. With so few chances to play seriously, Aomine's own instincts had been dulled, but they're slowly coming back in this matchup against Kagami. What Kagami felt in that moment wasn't doubt or despair, but pure respect for Aomine and the heights he'd reached as a basketball player. Seirin is on a back foot. Even after Kiyoshi grabs a rebound, Sakurai slaps the ball away, scoring again. Seirin's bench believes Kuroko can go rogue like he did during the Kurosaki game and change up the pass routes, but it's revealed that he already tried doing that and just can't get free. It's not even Momoi's strategy that's stopping Kuroko. Imayoshi is just straight up in his head at this point. All of this shutdown leads to the gap widening between Seirin and Toho. With only a few minutes left in the third quarter, it seems like all hope is lost, with the situation only getting worse. Kuroko's original defender goes back on him, meaning everybody on Toho can now track him. Misdirection as an ability gets less effective the more Kuroko uses it. There's just no way he'd be able to keep it active for a full game, that being, 40 minutes. Seirin's out of tricks, and any chance they might have had to turn things around is sunk. Kuroko's misdirection is useless. Everybody knew it. The crowd in the stands, the generation of miracle players watching, with all options exhausted, this is Seirin's loss. It is revealed, however, that Kuroko's misdirection didn't get just used up. He wanted to use it up. We see Izuki vanish completely from Imeyoshi's field of view, the effect being just like Kuroko's vanishing drive. This isn't something he could have done at the start of the third quarter. This is an ultimate technique that can only be performed when Kuroko's misdirection is used up. Misdirection overflow. Put off his axis, Imeyoshi is distracted, which costs Toho in the form of a sloppy pass that Hyuga steals, also seemingly vanishing and performing Kuroko's vanishing drive. Seirin sinking 2 in a row, narrowing the lead down to 10. It's revealed once Kuroko's misdirection is used up, he'll no longer be able to keep Toho from tracking him. In other words, it will have the reverse effect. He can make them concentrate on him and him alone. Once Kuroko is no longer able to hide from their sight, it will be as if a 10th person suddenly appeared on the court, where before there was seemingly 9. Due to Kuroko standing out, Seirin takes advantage of that to make plays, essentially lending his teammates the same effect as the vanishing drive. While this seems like an all-powerful strategy, there are huge risks that come with it. The first risk is time. Kuroko can only use this near the end of a game, as he can only draw their attention for so long. Midorima even doubting that Kuroko can keep it up till the end of the game. The second and more pressing reason and issue with this ability is that Kuroko is sacrificing himself. It's as if he's performing a magic trick while simultaneously giving away the secret. In other words, once this game is over, his misdirection will never work against Toho again. With both teams being in the Tokyo block, they're bound to play each other more, but now even if Kagami and the others keep improving, Toho is simply too strong to beat even without Seirin's trump card. Seirin is betting it all on this risky move while throwing away their chances of ever beating Toho again, this option being better than losing here. This being partially attributed to the fact that this is the last time Kiyoshi will be able to play with the team, so there is no next time. They want to be able to win with Kiyoshi, so this is a strategy they are more than willing to employ right now. We see Wakamatsu go for a dunk, only to get blocked and stopped by Kiyoshi. Kagami, getting possession of the ball, is faced off against Aomine. Kagami drives past Aomine with the vanishing drive, dunking the ball in, shrinking the lead to 8 points. Toho is in a state of awe, even earning praise from their captain that Seirin is the strongest challengers they've ever faced. With seconds left in the third quarter, Imayoshi sinks a 3 from way behind the 3-point line, as during times like this is when he's more dangerous than ever, preventing Seirin from ending the third quarter on a high note. The third quarter ending with Seirin having 62 points and Toho having 73. During the 2-minute intermission, we see the toll the game is having on Seirin. Kuroko is running on fumes as overflow takes way more of a toll on him than his regular misdirection, because he's got to apply the effect to so many targets. There's no way he'll be able to last till the end. Even Kiyoshi is feeling the pressure of the moment, but one thing is undeniably true. This team is strong. With the start of the fourth quarter, Hyuga kicks things off with his barrier jumper combined with overflow sinking a 3. It wasn't just fast, it seems as if time just skipped ahead. There is a change on Toho's side that can be seen since the most recent huddle. Aomine simply wasn't listening to the plan. Lost in thought, this is only something that happens when Aomine is against fierce opponents. Returning even slightly to the old Aomine, he's shown smiling again. Scoring again, Aomine maintains the 10-point lead. Kagami noting how even with Kuroko's trick going full throttle, he can't close that score gap. He has no idea how to stop Aomine. Hyuga tells Kagami to relax and that will get them back. You're the only one who even stands a chance against a monster like that, so keep at it. In the meantime, we'll close this gap 3 points at a time. We see Hyuga sink another 3-pointer, Sakurai noting how he's not hesitating at all. Even though a miss here could cost the team big, is he really that confident in his own shooting? Hyuga remarks that he is confident, but in his teammates. He doesn't shoot because he doesn't think he won't miss, he shoots because he knows it's okay even if he does miss. The shot going in and the score gap closing even further. Sakurai blames himself for Hyuga making all these threes and is now off tilt. Imayoshi noting how his rhythm's off, so his quick release shot is not going to go in. But he isn't the only one who catches this. Aomine also notes this and requests for Sakurai to pass him the ball, only for Aomine to be met with Kagami, attempting to drive past Kagami, only to be met with Kiyoshi, who he fakes out, going for another formless shot and scoring again. This is made worse by the fact that Aomine is actually pushed in the air by Kiyoshi due to the defense committing the foul, that being Kiyoshi, but the shot going in anyway, the shooter on offense is awarded 1 free throw, essentially making it a 3-point play for Toho. It's made very explicit to us. Toho Academy doesn't focus on teamwork, but rather on individual skills, so the players don't really cooperate or try to stay in sync with one another, but they all play with a singular will. In other words, they have a thirst to win and unshakable confidence in their ace, or in Aomine's strength, as he goes ahead and sinks the free throw, putting Toho back up to a 10-point lead, the score being 68-78. For the next few minutes, both teams trade buckets, but the lead doesn't seem to sink at all, as Seirin is at 78 and Toho is at 86. With 5 minutes left in the game to stop this onslaught, Kuroko, Kagami, and Kiyoshi triple team Aomine. With 5 minutes left in the game, Seirin refuses to give up. Minarima explains that the fear Aomine inspires isn't because of his speed or skill, it's from what emerges from those two factors, which is his overwhelming ability to make a shot from just about any position. Even Kagami, with his newfound wild instincts and overall growth, hasn't been able to stop Aomine once since the second half started. Kuroko's move may have given Seirin an offensive edge, but with this back and forth exchange of points, the gap won't close. That means whatever happens, once Toho takes the lead, unless Seirin stops Aomine, they're just not going to be able to win. Despite having the ball, met with this 3-man defense, passing is no longer an option for Aomine, an incredibly simple yet effective strategy, forcing Aomine to deal with this 3v1 on his own. How does Aomine attempt to get past this 3-man prison? He first successfully is able to drive past Kagami, faced off against Kiyoshi, going for a shot, but in actuality moving to the side. These moves seeming inhumane to the crowd. We see a flashback where Kuroko actually thinks that they can stop Aomine, but he requires Kagami and Kiyoshi's help. It was actually Kuroko's idea to triple team Aomine, but with as good as Aomine is, it might not be enough. He knows that, which is why he wants Kagami to let Aomine slip by him. It being revealed that Kagami let Aomine slip by him on purpose, we see that Kagami was actually going for Aomine's blind spot so he could block him, only for Aomine to dodge it in midair, seemingly inhuman, and going for another formless shot. It seems as if he scored, only for the ball to spin around the rim and fall out the basket. The entirety of Toho's shocked at how Aomine could miss in that range. The reason the shot did not go in is due to how Kuroko made Aomine miss. Because like we just established and saw, stopping Aomine outright is just impossible at this point, which is why Kuroko decided to use his overflow right when Aomine shoots to distract him for just an instant. And although this wouldn't be enough to make Aomine miss an ordinary shot, it's an entirely different story if he's forced to aim quickly while on the move. A distraction becomes more effective if your target is moving faster. So if Kiyoshi and Kagami can keep him on the run or back him into a corner, then Kuroko can capitalize on that and make him distracted, allowing him to miss the shot. Even Imayoshi is blown away at how Kuroko is using overflow, not believing that it can even be used in this manner. Misdirection that distracts a high-speed opponent and disrupts their shots, a technique tailor-made to beat Aomine. Capitalizing on the rebound, Seirin is now 6 points behind Toho. With Wakamatsu now getting the ball, we see a zone press from Seirin. This is an advanced formation that requires tremendous stamina from each player, as well as solid defensive skills. It's a great way to steal the ball, but they're in trouble if the offense breaks through. It's a double-edged sword. It's their only option, as they've always found a way to come through in the clutch. Through this pressure, we see Kuroko steal a pass, passing to Hyuga, who goes to sink a 3, only for Sakurai to slam his arm over his head. But this is actually the worst case scenario for Toho, as this specific foul was called while the offense was shooting, but it was from the 3-point line, which means that Seirin gets 3 free throws, and if they land them all, it's just a 3-point game. Imayoshi is convinced that Hyuga's not gonna miss, but Aomine just says this is perfect. Allow him to get the rebound after this shot. Aomine starts thinking to himself, when did it get like this? Mornings before a game, I leave the house with a big yawn. When did it get like this? Why do I feel nothing even when we win? The only one who could beat me is me. What I want is an opponent who can match me at every turn. What I've dreamed of is a nail-biter game too close to call, with a door suddenly opening. Aomine expresses his gratitude to Kuroko. After all 3 shots are sunk, Imayoshi passes Aomine the ball. When faced off against Kagami, Aomine drives past him with speed that's just never been seen before in this game. So fast that Kagami wasn't even able to react to the speed and only visualized Aomine after he passed him, scoring a layup. We then learn what's happened to Aomine. The zone, when players are purged of all thoughts and emotions, allowing them to become completely immersed in the game. More than just ordinary concentration, it entails a singular focus like no other. Being in the zone enables players to draw on their maximum potential and strength. That said, it's an extremely rare phenomenon that even top athletes experience unintentionally. Only those who have dedicated themselves to long hours of training can earn the rights to stand before those gates. Even then, it's not something that can be done on a whim. Beyond those gates lies the pinnacle reserved for the chosen ones, but it was as if Aomine's sheer talent sneered at the challenge. At this 11th hour, he wrenched the gates open by force. Blue electricity trailing off Aomine's eyes, he is now in the zone. After this point, we see Aomine intercept a pass from Hyuga to Kagami. It's been noted that Aomine hasn't been too active on defense up until this point, but that was just a lightning quick reaction right now. Even experienced veterans of the game have never come close to seeing a beast like Aomine in their day. Utilizing 100% of one's power in a game is fundamentally impossible. Even when totally focused, the best players can only muster about 80%. Up till now, Aomine's been hovering right about that 80% mark. But when someone's in the zone, reaching that full 100% becomes possible. As for someone of Aomine's caliber, that full potential is uncharted territory. On the physical side alone, he's probably moving twice as fast, blitzing around the entirety of Team Seirin and just scoring again. He is speed blitzing people in a sports manga. Even the generation of miracles have never seen this in their day. Minarima noting how he can understand entering the zone naturally in the heat of battle, but Aomine made it happen through sheer willpower. This is the real Aomine. Through a flashback, we get a bit more insight to Aomine's character, as a part of him actually wants to lose. He's searching for an equal, searching for someone stronger than himself even. But regardless of that search, he still joins the team of Toho. Seirin does respond as Kiyoshi scores another layup, responding with high energy, but Aomine is just clapping back, scoring another formless shot as he's still the best at this point in time. Now that he's in the zone, Overflow's not working on him anymore. He's completely overpowering the team. There is no technique that can stop Aomine now. With the score 85-92, Kagami has but one request: let him go one-on-one with Aomine. Calling a timeout, the team questions Kagami's decision, as not even a triple team was enough to stop Aomine, and they ask him if he just has some secret plan to win, but he doesn't. But he can't do it. Kagami notes how he never expected to beat one of the Miracle Generation guys by himself, and if benching him at this point would lead the team to victory, he'd gladly take a seat. But there's something about this guy there's something about Aomine that makes it so Kagami has to be the one to take him down. Hyuga responds that he's all yours. He's got 2 minutes, and in the meantime, the team will try and keep up. The entirety of Seirin's victory riding on their ace. We see Aomine have ball possession and go one-on-one against Kagami. The team is leaving everything up to their own ace. Aomine doesn't think Kagami can match him, of course, and that his light is just too faint, driving past him and scoring another bucket. Seirin responding with misdirection overflow on the rest of the team, getting past Imayoshi, or so it seems. Imayoshi was actually able to react to Izuki's drive, Izuki thinking that the team's timing was off, but that's not the case. Overflow starting to lose its effectiveness in these last couple minutes of the game. If the ball goes out of bounds in response to this slap away, then the game is over for Seirin. Kuroko grabbing the ball and throwing it back in before he goes out of bounds, gets the ball to Hyuga, who passes to Kiyoshi for another layup, keeping Seirin in the game. Kuroko noting how he believes in Kagami, that's why he's not giving up. It seems like this is the end of the game. Kagami is unable to stop Aomine's advances and score points, the score coming out to 93-98, a small gap that has been closed but still remains there. Kagami at this point only laments his own weakness. If they don't win now, then that's it. Recalling everything that's been leading up to this, Kuroko's belief, everything regarding the team, Kiyoshi's last year, he can't let it end here. Having a vivid image about how Seirin High fails to advance to the Inter High, he just can't stand to lose them anymore and can't stand to watch his teammates cry like that. A visual of another door opening. We see Aomine go to drive past Kagami, only for Kagami to respond to Aomine's speed. The entirety of the stands and players are perplexed by this feat, only for it to be revealed that Kagami is also in the zone. Aomine has nothing but good to say about Kagami at this point, saying to forget whatever he said before, that he is just something else. Kagami and Aomine are in the zone, and this is pretty much where the rest of the players become obsolete. We see Kagami go for a dunk, only for Aomine to respond, slapping the ball away. Sakurai gets ball possession, throwing it forward to Aomine, who goes for a formless shot, only for Kagami to intercept it. It being noted that Kagami and Aomine are just on a whole nother level, but there's only a minute left. They're not scoring. They're so evenly matched that no scoring has occurred. Akashi remarks that being in the zone has elevated their focus and reflexes to inhuman levels, but it's a stalemate. Pretty much each ace has taken over their own team. Even if these players passed, nothing would change naturally. Being in the zone is more about than just tapping into one's full potential. While in the zone, all idle thoughts and distractions vanish. That includes all surrounding sights and sounds. In essence, the primary opponent and the placements of movements of other players are the only things that exist. It's a skill that shifts through the external stimuli and sorts them based on importance. It expands your ROV, or range of vision. Furthermore, we're pitting the fastest player against the highest jumper. Both have a defensive range that extends well past that of any ordinary player. Coming at either of them carelessly would just be dangerous. That's why the fate of this game is now in their hands. With the state of this game, Aomine is in a state of pure enjoyment, finally finding a rival that he can play against with his utmost ability. Every other player in this court just in a state of awe. The sparks flying between the two aces had the entire crowd mesmerized. Everybody wished the dance would go on forever, but it had to end, and the end came suddenly, with Kagami driving past Aomine and sinking a free throw. Imayoshi's perplexed. How can it be that Kagami is actually faster, with Kagami also being able to keep up with Aomine, who's unable to shake him? It's not that Kagami's faster, it's just that you can only be in the zone for so long. Using 100% of one's power takes quite a toll. That's why Aomine is the only one feeling it. He was in the zone first, so he's now tapping out first. Aomine jumps up for another formless shot. Kagami admits, Aomine, you're strong. In a one-on-one, I'd bet you win. I've gone way past my own limit, and I'm still fighting because I've got people supporting me. My strength isn't my own. For everyone's sake, I've got to win. As he smacks the ball away, blocking the shot. Aomine falling on his ass, and Hugo securing the rebound and scoring again. Seirin is only 1 point behind with 30 seconds left in the game. Just as it seems Toho is about to take a timeout due to these extenuating circumstances, Aomine, when offered a hand up, just slaps his teammate's hand away. Not to touch him, he just tripped. Everybody needs to stay out of his way. The coach then proceeds to cancel the timeout. As for better or for worse, a timeout would interrupt the flow. Sometimes you gotta look in your player's eyes and make that call. Sometimes whatever groove they're in takes priority over strategy. Aomine re-entering the zone as the lightning still trails off his eyes. With no more options, Imayoshi falls on his ace. The strongest one is still Aomine, passing him the ball only for Aomine to jump out of bounds and throw a formless shot behind the backboard, scoring it in and securing a 3-point lead for Toho. He refuses to lose. A game's no fun unless he wins. With 10 seconds on the clock, everything looks bad. Hyuga goes for a barrier jumper x misdirection overflow, only for Sakurai to intercept. At this point, it's no good. Kuroko's overflow is all used up. This time, Kuroko's actually at his limit, only for Kagami to tell the captain to pass him the ball. Going for a dunk only for Aomine to clash with him in the air. This second Kagami clashed with Aomine, Kagami could feel it. This dunk would fail. Recalling his conversation with Midorima far earlier in the series that the reason he can always beat Kagami in the air is because he knows he will always dunk. In order to beat the generation of miracles, he needs total freedom in the air. Being in the zone is more than just wielding 100% of one's power. It expands your range of vision. With this and in the zone, Kagami passes the ball to Kiyoshi, taking what he came up with during the summer and making it happen in these final moments. Kiyoshi gets blocked by Toho's center. He knows he can't beat him in power. This is a gamble. This is a once in a lifetime chance. If I've got a shot to turn things around, I gotta take it here. We see Kiyoshi go for a feint and then throw the ball in right in front of the center. Furthermore, because Toho's center actually pushed Kiyoshi down accidentally while he was in the air, it ended up being a defensive foul while the basket counts. So Seirin gets one free throw. With 5 seconds left and 1 point behind, Seirin can tie it up if he makes the free throw. What's more shocking about this entire situation was the assist from Kagami. Ever since the past summer, he's been working on his mid-air game by practicing dribbling with his left hand, but even so, he's always so focused on an opponent that he never got a chance to use those skills. But now that he's in the zone, he's making it happen at the very end. Almine admitting making a pass like that with that timing that Kagami's not bad at all. If Yuga makes this free throw, Seirin will be tied with Toho, and that would be instant death. If they want to win, they need to turn this around now, and to do that, it's clear what they'll do. The free throw is gonna miss, then we get the ball and end this. That's the only route to strategy. If the game goes into overtime, they will lose. We're running out of strategies while they've still got plenty of stamina and a deep bench. Still, since Kyoshi's our shooter, it'll be up to Hyuga and Kagami. I'll go with it with all I've got, but Kagami, if he gets the chance to, should take it. This is the final play of the game. As Hyuga goes for the free throw, we see it hit the rim, only for Kagami to jump over all of Toho, grabbing the ball, only for Almine to respond, smacking the ball out of his hand. The ball is loose. If the clock runs out right now, Toho wins. Sakurai believing the game is our win. Imayoshi running towards the ball, only for him to be surprised that Kuroko is in front of him. Even though Imayoshi and the rest of Toho are Almine's teammates, they were sure that Kagami had that one, so they took a split second to start moving once Almine smacked the ball away. But Kuroko moved sooner. It's like he had more faith in Almine than he did in Kagami, but Kuroko says that's not quite right. He had faith in both of them, but there's only one guy he believes that can end this game. Sending a pass to Kagami, both Kagami and Almine jump for the ball. With 0.10 seconds left on the clock, we see Kagami jump up in the air, getting ready to slam the ball in. Almine getting flashbacks to his conversation with Kuroko, that somebody better than him will show up sometime soon. Kagami dunks the ball in, and the buzzer goes off. Seirin, 101 points. Toho 100, the game is over. It is a total win for Kuroko and Kagami, putting an end to Almine's search for a worthy rival and that game that he was always looking for. This isn't the end of anything though, it's just the beginning. Kagami will take Almine on whenever he wants. Almine finally repays Kuroko back with the fist bump that he denied him far earlier in middle school, the first huge match of the Winter Cup coming to an end. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'm actually going to be going through breaking down each of the games that happened in the Winter Cup, or the main one. So if you do want to see those, consider subscribing, sticking around, or if you just like Kuroko or sports, manga, anime, whatever. I will catch you guys next time. Bye bye.